Hey guys, Platinum22 here. Today we're going to be talking about what it's like to own mid-tier knives. Now, I don't own any knives that are above $300. I don't have the kind of money for that, so pretty much everything I've bought has been under that price bracket, and everything I've bought hasn't been the recommendation of most major balisong channels. You know, Will Hirsch, Blade Bias, all them. I've bought balisongs that honestly are either like mid-tier, um, pretty bad. I mean, this is a lot of money for something that arguably doesn't flip that well. I mean, it's unique, but it's almost on the same level as this, and it's the same. These are both the same price, but they're not worth it in a lot of people's opinion. And something like this was my first balisong. Literally pins instead of bushings or washers or anything like that. Honestly, it's made me appreciate balisongs more. Owning knives that are cheap as hell and you have to work with them and you have to bend around their rules makes you appreciate the uniqueness of every knife you get. Like this knife, for example, it's slippery as hell. It wants to fly out of my hand constantly. But the balance on it's really good. And if I grip tight enough and I hold usually this part, if I'm doing like a ladder or something, I'll die on this thing. But if I'm just flipping normally, doing like fans or, I don't know, behind the eight balls to blenders and other things, the flipping experience is just fine. And it's probably not as good as something like a Seraph or even a Kraken trainer or live blade Kraken, but it's good enough for me, and it's taught me how to deal with balisongs that are slippery. This balisong is also aluminum, but it's grippier than the other one, and it sticks to my hand a lot better, especially with tricks that involve chaplains and aerials. But it has a weird ice pick aerial. I don't know. It's a lot different than anything I've ever flipped before in terms of just ice pick aerials. You gotta wait a lot longer, and it's a bit bigger compared to my biggest knife, which is this one. So the length on it kind of makes it a little bit difficult to flip for me, since I'm used to my second knife, the one that I flip the most, is small as hell compared to it. Like this is the one I learned all my tricks on, so it's just way different. I feel more comfortable flipping this, and then I feel like wild flipping it after I flip something so big. I know it's a shitty knife. It's washers, and it's tiny. It's sandwiched with like a bunch of, like, I think T6, and the play on this thing is despicable. Like you could probably put your finger between that. That's how bad the play is. But it's mine. I like the uniqueness, you know? Same with a knife like this. I bought this just so I could say I had a $1 knife. It was like $5, but you know, it might as well be a $1 knife, the amount of jankiness this thing has. And it sounds horrible. But this knife makes me appreciate this knife a lot more, because I go from this knife to this knife, and God, it feels like going from a piece of sandpaper to a buttery smooth steak or something like that. I don't know. Overall, things like balance and flippability and how good I am at doing tricks doesn't actually doesn't affect me as much as I thought it would. I'm not super influenced by how bad things are balanced. Like this thing has a hole drilled out in the middle of it, which it makes like 2 tricks easier, but it makes 3 tricks harder. Like you can't chaplain on this thing. You try to chaplain, it'll fly off your hand, no matter what you try to do. It's because there's barely any weight right here. I know, because I removed that weight. But tricks like rollovers are still doable. It actually excels a bit better in aerials and aerial-based tricks. Like, it's really easy to do a helix aerial with this, and I'm still a bit sketched out by helix aerials, so having a knife that it's pretty easy to do on is nice. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, my collection is worth like no more than $500, I'd say, if I were to sell it all. And honestly, it's pretty shitty. Most of it is something you could probably pick up at a flea market. Like these would all probably be considered flea market knives. These are all things I've picked up at flea markets. This I got for my birthday, but I've found similar ones at flea markets that are actually sharp. But these ones I had to order online. This is arguably a mid to low tier clone of something. I think it's trying to be original, but like Will Hirsch made a video on it. It's not that good, and it's even more slippery than this. Like this thing wants to just fly out of my hands at all times. You have to flip decently slow, or else it'll want to just jump out of your hand even worse than this one does because of that bead blast. This one's slippery, but very manageable. The balance kind of makes up for that, and I'd say this one probably flips not the best, but I'd say these two are my best flippers. And anything else in the collection, like these are the main two I pick up. I have a squiddy that I don't have here, but I mean everybody knows squiddies don't flip the greatest, but I enjoy them. I think just because something doesn't flip really good doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. Even if it flips poorly, I still enjoy it. I remember flipping this one for a while because I was helping my friend with the movie, and he needed to have a scene where a balisong got blood on it. This one still has a little bit of fake blood on it. And so I was like, yeah, I have like a $2 balisong that I could waste for the movie. And I mean, it didn't destroy it, putting all the blood on it, but got it messy. So I'd rather do it on this than this. And honestly, the movie came out pretty good. I got to flip this thing a lot more than I did previously, and I got a lot better at flipping really shitty knives, and it made me appreciate just how bad these knives are. Like, this thing is so light, it's got play so bad that it'll get stuck, and it's extremely blade biased. Like this is the heaviest part of the knife, and it kind of just wants to fly off if you don't follow it with your hand. And same with this one. This one just has weird balance. I don't really know what to say about the balance on this one. It's just weird. But I kind of like weird. I like the weirdness of all these balance points and all the wackiness that comes with owning balisongs that aren't, you know, the best flippers. All the wackiness that comes with owning unique balisongs. So I'd say if you're looking to make a collection for yourself, or you don't have that much money, you know, maybe buy a mid-tier balisong. Maybe buy a balisong that people don't recommend. Maybe it'll make you appreciate your other balisongs more.